Welcome to On the Fence, a show that's about helping you decide whether or not to spend your hard-earned money on the biggest and possibly best releases. Ah Wai.
Hello!
Yes, no hands this time, because he hates Japanese games.
That is what I hear.
Yep. No hands this time because, well, this kind of isn't his sort of game, and I do have a fair bit of history with the Fire Emblem series. We've both been fans for a decent chunk of time, I would say.
Based on Smash Bros, right?
Yeah. You know that series that has an overwhelming number of characters in Smash Bros, despite having little to no audience? Here it is. Yes, the new Fire Emblem is here. Fire Emblem Engage, the second Fire Emblem game on the Switch. And welcome to Somniel.
Glad to be here.
And welcome to Ridiculous Haircuts. I'll not spend too much time here. This is a older save of mine. I'll go into an actual mission here because I've unlocked a couple more things in Somniel from where I am here at the minute. So I'll be able to show off more stuff later. I'll probably not finish this mission because if I remember correctly, this mission takes a while. This storming the castle one.
I feel like all the missions have been like pretty long overall.
Yeah, they're all they all last, I'd say, at least half an hour, 40 minutes, I'd say. And like especially if you take into account like all the cutscenes and stuff that kind of come up.
Also, I feel like there's a lot of cutscenes in this game. Like,
yes,
way more than I remember in other games.
Especially like they are. I feel like I remember a lot of the cutscenes in Three Houses being
They're just conversations. Just
two people just kind of either side of the text box having like emoting essentially. Whereas yes, in this there is typically actual like not great cinematography for lack of a better term, but like you are actually a camera in the scenes and stuff. But yes, so Fire Emblem Engage, not a sequel to Three Houses. Fire Emblem doesn't do sequels, but the next game after Three Houses. But Fire Emblem itself is a tactics game. Probably the best way to describe it.
Let me stop you there, Nick, for all the fans in the comments that they do sequels.
How is there?
Yeah, they actually have done sequels. More so for the older games. Yeah.
Okay. But no, it's a tactics game, tinged with some social aspects. Like you have bonds between your comrades and things, but for the most part, the focus has always been on the tactics side of things, and it's been a long-running series. Both you and I were fairly high on Three Houses. We both liked that game quite a lot.
Yeah, no, I thought Three Houses was like real good.
Yeah, like I enjoyed, like I started with Fire Emblem Awakening, which I think kind of a lot of people did. I feel like Awakening was definitely the biggest Western release they had ever had at that time, and like it caught on very well. And then kind of since then, they've definitely been a lot more prevalent in kind of Nintendo's marketing with Fire Emblem.
Yeah. As much as people like hate it, Awakening was the game that saved Fire Emblem.
Yes,
it was not doing well, and then Awakening came along.
Yeah, but I love Three Houses. I love the conceit of Three Houses. You are this tutor in a school and you choose a house essentially and get to know the students. This one feels a lot more like a typical Fire Emblem game. Like you are a chosen one. You awaken from 1,000-year slumber, and are told you gotta go save the world. Where I feel like the stakes weren't necessarily that high immediately in Three Houses.
Yeah, I think that sort of ends up that way, but I do fear that a lot of the later games, it is just that. I feel like most let's call it anime games where you are your own character. It's always you're the chosen one, right?
Oh, yeah.
I think Awakening did actually a much cooler job in terms of just like whenever you're playing Robin, like you were kind of like the side character, but also the main character. But
Chrom is much more like the hero, or he's positioned as the hero more than anything compared to your character.
But man, people love themselves a divine dragon in this game.
Yep,
everyone loves you.
Yes. So the conceit or the setup for the game is you start with a flashback to when you first gather the 12 emblems, as they're called. We'll get into that when we actually see the gameplay. But yes, I am the Divine Dragonelier.
He says that a lot.
He does, yeah. People just say the Divine Dragon a lot in this game. And you wake up after 1,000 years, and you don't really know why. It's just implied that, shit is about to go south, and you need to be awake for this. And yeah, pretty quickly, shit goes south. Your mother is killed. And you're tasked with, re-collecting the 12 emblem rings. So this first bit of the game, you are meeting up with Alfred here, who is the Prince of Firenze, and they're in possession of a couple of the rings, so he is part of a team that essentially has been coming to prey at your sleeping body every so often, and now you are here to help him after his mother's castle has been stormed. So Ah Wai, we need to talk about Toothpaste Man here. And just the character designs in general, I feel like. Because they are certainly out there compared to previous Fire Emblem games.
That's not the only thing that's out there, if you know what I mean, Nick, on this screen.
The fell dragon has returned? No.
I've definitely noticed in one of the most recent missions, some of the enemy designs are insane. The way they look like K-pop stars, I think would be the best way to describe it. They all have very... Also, yes, that was my Switch dimming because some of these cutscenes take so long.
Now, if you'll excuse me.
Yeah, they all kind of... The designs in this game go out there, and I kind of appreciate how dumb they are, especially kind of after... everyone in Three Houses was kind of in a school uniform, so they all kind of had very similar designs. Whereas, yeah, they kind of are let loose here, for lack of a better phrase.
Yeah, I actually kind of love it, just because, as you said, it is quite a contrast to what we saw last, I guess. There's a lot of clarity, I guess. I can look at the board right now and I can be like, that's such and such.
Yeah.
Or anyone else.
Get the ring.
So each mission has been quite, I don't want to say different, because at the end of the day, your goal in each mission is kind of still just defeat one guy, and that's kind of it. But each mission has kind of introduced some form of unique concept so far. This one, they kind of go into, there's lots of, there's this front door that we go through, or there's a side door, and we can kind of flank the enemy and things like that. Obviously, that's not going to keep going throughout every bit of this, but it is nice that they kind of filter the stuff in to be it's not all gonna be easy and straightforward. Also, did I not equip? Wait, did that not? But okay, it does have a good sword on. Alright, I'll not spend too much time going through the menus of items and stuff because no one wants to see me min-max this immediately.
Yeah, I think in a game where I love tactics games, elevation is a thing, but obviously in Fire Emblem that's not a thing at all. So having these little obstacles and terrain to interact with, it really helps flesh out a level that would otherwise be very, very dull.
Even in one of the DLC missions that I've done, yes, I bought the DLC. You can frown all you want.
You're part of the problem, Dick.
Yes, I bought the day one DLC. They actually had ice things on the floor, and if you passed over ice, you actually got extra movement speed as if you were sliding along it. And things like that. So they have done a good job of kind of making each environment still unique enough that they don't feel like you're just doing the same mission every time. So now that we are in the actual guts of the combat, let's talk about emblems. Ah Wai.
Engage, Nick.
Yes. So the new thing in this game is this emblem system where heroes of past Fire Emblem games have all been kind of... it's never implied whether these are the actual people or just spirits of them. Essentially are within a ring, and you can engage with these spirits and take on this new form and gain new abilities and new skills essentially. So for Lear here, I have Marth's ring, the one he starts with, and that actually gives him a new ability called Lodestar Rush, which just lets him absolutely go to town on a motherfucker. See, he does 6 times 9 damage. Obviously not optimal to use it on this guy, but just want to show it off. But I actually really like the engage system. Like, it's simple, but I also think it does open some really cool things, and I think some of the abilities they give people are really cool. And it does open a new of like, alright, so Sigurd here, like a lot of his like skills are based on like movement. So like one of the skills is you do extra damage for every square you moved to get to a unit. So obviously it's really good to have him on like mounted units.
Yeah, I wish that was just like a default cavalry thing, because it's actually so simple.
Yeah.
It actually feels
Yeah,
really
pretty great.
satisfying to use.
But yeah, other than that, like still fairly standard Fire Emblem fare. You have the triangle of weapons where sword beats axe, axe beats lance, lance beats sword.
Yeah, but they added this whole break mechanic now.
So yeah, I wasn't sure if this was a thing or not. I should be able to show it off here. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can see there on the bottom in the middle there, break!
Yeah. So typically, yeah, whenever you attack someone, they have the chance to counterattack, but if you attack with an advantageous weapon, like I just fucked up there.
Oh, that 98% right? Whoa.
Yeah, so typically when you attack with an advantageous weapon, you actually break the opponent, which means they can't counterattack or even attack for the rest of this turn. So even if someone else were to come and attack that unit, they still wouldn't be able to counterattack them.
Yeah, so that is new, and I'm actually really glad that they brought the weapon triangle back, because in Three Houses, there is no weapon triangle. There is just abilities that sort of hint at there being a triangle, where if you have sword skills, a lot of them are like good against axes.
Yeah.
But there is no true triangle.
I think if I go over to Lear here, you can see like one of his weapons. Does it say here? No, it doesn't. I'm sure it says on someone, but yeah, like a lot of the weapons still have like, effective against cavalry, effective against flying. They just kind of have that built into the weapons more than anything sometimes in Three Houses, but now, yeah, it's back to being this is how this works. I fucking adore her engage ability.
Yeah.
It's incredible. And when you're playing on casual mode and don't need to worry about her dying, it's even better. Yeah, so her ability essentially just lets her warp within range of an enemy and lets her attack them, which is pretty funny.
Yeah, I actually got her killed a couple of times because I'm sure. I think you must have it now, actually. Oh, maybe you don't. So she gets an ability which is just she loses 1 HP.
Yes.
That led to perfect math for her to die in one of my. It was quite unfortunate.
Yeah, that's just that ability there I've got now. So yeah, as you're kind of using the characters that have emblems, you are leveling up your bond with them as you would like any other characters in the game.
As your steward.
So like, if I attack near another character, they will start being like, oh, we're friends now. So that kind of leads to some weirdness, because it feels like I've just gotten Marth to rank 10 in my actual save. And now I feel like, what's the point of Alir keeping him on? Should I not just move Marth to another person, because that's the most efficient way to play?
Yeah, so I think that's the kind of the idea of the game, is like you level up and then that gives you the ability to buy the skills permanently.
Yeah.
So the idea is like you level up, buy whatever skills you want, and then move on to someone else.
Let me tell you, man, some of the skills are real fucking expensive.
Yeah, they are. They really are. But I think it really opens up the player to actually like, actually customize a character, I guess.
Yeah.
Because like, I think in previous Fire Emblems, all you could really do is like what class you want them to be, and then in the later games there are some skills. But I think this really opens that up for people.
Yeah, and I'm assuming like it's clear that like some of them are. Oh, she's about to die, isn't she? Yeah, that's fine. It's clear that like obviously Marth skills are all about if this guy is wielding a sword. So like there's no point in sticking Marth on certain characters, because they're not going to make best use out of his skills. But then there are also some, like I feel like explicitly even like some of them are quite vague in like terms of just like, you do good stuff, like you're just a stat stick essentially, which I think is quite nice.
I
Like,
think
you
actually,
kinda-
what you can do, which I haven't tried yet, is if you put someone who's like doesn't really make sense. Like there's actually a character that I got introduced to where the character that they get assigned the emblem to, they use completely different weapons.
Yes.
And so what you can actually do then is you could be like, hey, you know, Alir doesn't use swords, but if you give him Sigurd, then suddenly he has a lance. Because every emblem has their own signature weapon.
Yeah.
Which is actually kind of cool.
Or they have 3.
Yeah.
If you have the 3 houses, people. But no, like, it is cool, like, and I think, yeah, it does give them the ability of, like, yes, you can, like, in Alir's case where he is stuck to using swords, like, yes, maybe you do want to give him a lance, so he, like, has the ability to break all types of units, and things like that. Like, it is interesting. I think there's lots of ways you can take it and do a lot of cool things with. It's just, it feels weird. Like, maybe it's just a case of I want to min-max everything. I want everyone to have the best stats possible. So it could just be a case of I need to train myself to not play it that way.
Hey, you never know, Matt. Maybe being flexible is how you min-max. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe.
But I think that's what's really cool, though. I think that's what's really cool about this game.
But yeah, other than the emblem system, I don't think they've really changed much in terms of the actual combat. It all seems still pretty straightforward and still kind of, you know, Fire Emblem.
The one thing I did notice that is different is there is no durability on weapons anymore, except for consumable like staves and things like that.
Yeah.
And that makes it really interesting, because what I've noticed is the emblem system, like everything else about the game is the exact same as every other Fire Emblem. But because you've added the emblem thing, which makes your characters like gods among men, it means that the actual levels in the enemies I find to be... Yeah, because if you look at that enemy there, he's actually level 8.
Yeah.
But I don't think your character's level 8 at this point.
No, I don't think so.
Or at least your whole squad's definitely not level 8. He's level 4.
He's level 4.
Yeah, so the game actually, I think, is at a base level harder because you yourself have more options.
Yeah.
I think that actually makes it really cool. And then because you don't have to worry about durability and stuff, you can sort of, you know, be a bit more flexible.
Yeah,
it's very
I completely didn't realize, but like, and now I remember. Yeah, I remember constantly having like, oh shit, I need to make like a new steel axe. I need to do such and such.
Yeah, which is like not fun. Like
no,
in the
it's
grand
not.
scheme of things. Oh yeah, get her to punch someone.
Oh yeah, it's not great. Oh yeah, this is just gonna get her wrecked for sure.
That's the other change, is that they made healers martial artists.
Yeah.
Which I haven't worked out.
I do.
But
I like them having a bit more. Like, I like the idea of, yes, your healers aren't just going to be, you know, there to heal or cast magic. I like that there's kind of a bit of nuance to it now. But yeah, like, it's like you said to me, like, yeah, it makes no sense that these healers who typically aren't going to have strength stats rely on strength now to do damage.
So I read, actually, I got a tooltip actually today after I sent that message to you, that it said when using arts, and I believe their items are called arts,
Yeah.
it takes your strength and magic stat together.
Okay.
So I think either way, she still
They
does no
have thought
damage.
about it, yeah.
Yeah, I still haven't had her actually do any damage yet, but potentially I think it might be there.
Sorry, I just gotta break this door.
Yeah. My best, I don't know how you played this level, Nick, but because the heavy knight dude was a heavy knight, I was like, you can wait here at this door instead of running all the way around the side. We'll meet you at the other side.
Oh, I will say the other time I played this, I used Sigurd's ability because I had pretty much the same scenario where Sigurd's ability charges through a line of enemies and just wiped out like 4 or 5 people in one go.
So I wasn't sure if it did damage or not. Like,
it does, yeah.
Everything else behind.
No, it does.
Oh, that's sick, actually.
It's the most satisfying thing whenever you need, like, line up the right amount of people.
Like, I think Sigurd's emblem so far in the early game has been like the most fun to play around with. Like, obviously teleporting and blasting someone is like hilarious, but like that's like a one-off thing. But like playing around with Sigurd is like really cool.
He also gets like insane movement range.
Yeah, right.
Dude just fucking goes.
I think that was also just a big shock whenever you have to, whenever you have to fight him, and I just like seeing the range that he covered was like, oh right, this is how we're doing things. But yeah, no, I think this has like been so fun to just play. Like, the combat stuff I've actually really enjoyed.
It's nothing groundbreaking, but I feel like they've definitely reached a point where they've just went through so many refinements and trying different things. Like, I think they've kind of nailed it now in the right sort of way that makes like it's fun to play and it's also engaging.
Oh shit!
Like in that sort of way where like it is fun to try out new things and it is fun to not necessarily feel, but it is fun to like see what happens whenever you do the dumb shit.
Speaking of dumb shit, man, do you wanna turn back time to show them?
They added that in. That was first in Three Houses, wasn't it? I don't remember.
I believe so.
Awakening.
So they brought that back.
I can't do it from anywhere, can I? I need to wait till it's my turn.
It's just your turn.
Right. Yeah, so what you can do in this game, I can actually turn back time. You can turn back any amount of time, can't you?
I believe so. Go all the way back to your character dying.
Yeah,
we can watch that again if we want.
Etia dying. Is that her dying there? Yeah, it is.
That's her attacked.
No, that's not where she died. Where did she die? There.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, so I can go all the way back to... Let's go back to the start of this turn. Obviously, it would be a bit dumb to go back to when she's fucking still alive. So yeah. Okay. This is okay. I've figured out what to do. Ah Wai. If I go back to here,
okay,
I can be like, all right, you go here, and you chain guard.
Doesn't she get smacked now? That's
yeah,
probably fine.
Wait, did she target him before? I can't remember. Did she not target him, or did she target someone else?
So this was one issue I have with this game, though, which I guess I'll mention now.
Yeah, those hours aren't the best.
Yeah, so in Three Houses, if you highlight any of your units, or the enemy unit, if you highlight the enemy unit, it will tell you exactly, I'm going to hit this character. Yeah. But in this game, if you highlight one of your units, all it says is, I am within range of these enemies. Not necessarily that they will attack me.
Yeah.
Which I think is really odd, considering all the other like quality of life stuff that they put in. But then again, though, you can just turn back time. So
yeah. You can do it. You can only do it a set number of times, though, can't you? Like you can't do it infinitely.
It is 10 by default. It
is
10.
Jesus.
So if you open that screen again,
with the chain guard, she will take the first bit of damage. Which I'm still not sure if actually that's enough to save her, to be honest. But actually, it should be. Oh no, it's not because she got a chain attack. God damn it.
But perfect. You can show the time thing again. Right, yeah. I'm pretty sure it says I'm playing on hard mode and it is 10 by default.
Maybe it's infinite then on normal.
Well, let's see.
Oh yeah, time crystal. Yeah,
charges unlimited.
Oh yeah, charges infinite. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I quote unquote only have 10, but that is more than enough.
Yeah, that is more than enough to save it. To not fuck up. And then at the end of that, you can also just save scum the whole thing if you really want to.
Yeah, so this is the thing, right? Is that I think a lot of people complain about this as a mechanic, and like in Three Houses they complained as well. But like, so many people. Is it any different
from save scumming? Yeah.
Yeah, loads of people would just do that anyway, and like, I think it allows you as a player to play a bit faster, without having to like sit here and plot every single. Yeah, mathematical calculation.
Especially like rather than oh shit, I lost someone to a crit on the last turn and now I don't need to replay the whole fight because I don't want to lose that guy. Like it's definitely the better option.
And you can just play in casual mode, right? Like it's just
quit out of
useful
here and go to my actual save and show off your hub area, which they brought back from Three Houses. Three Houses you had the academy itself. This one you have a floating temple, essentially.
It's not as cool as it sounds.
it's not as cool as it sounds. Also, I think I'm not in the Somniel in this save at the minute. Now that I think about it.
I like this load screen, though.
Yeah, I'm in the middle. I've just come out of a fight here. Let me create a second save here just so I don't miss anything. If I skip straight to the Somniel. Depart.
Oh man, I don't think I played this level yet.
Yeah, so even like, so I'm now, I think this is just about 8-9 hours into this. No, just skip this cutscene. I'm about 8-9 hours into the game now. I've just unlocked my first advanced class.
Ah.
So I'm now a Divine Dragon class. Rather than, I can't remember what the class Alir is before.
Oh, I thought he was always just a Divine Dragon.
It could be just be an advanced version of the class, but no, I have a different outfit now.
Oh, speaking of
Do you like my
outfits-
cat?
Oh, you actually put the hair on him. You actually
Of course
did.
I did. Why wouldn't I?
I actually only saw this yesterday, and I was like, I bet Nick has put this on in my head.
And then I give him a purple bandana because red and blue makes purple.
God, Nick, you're so stylish.
Yeah, so this is kind of your hub area. You can come back here anytime in between missions, and you can kind of do a whole bunch of stuff here. You can go make meals. You can go polish rings. You can gacha. You can just go around chatting to people. It doesn't really do much. It's not this, like, you obviously still have like the support conversations and stuff that you can do in here. But you can also just chat to people and get little tidbits. I don't think it actually adds anything. You got a couple of shops. And really, it's a nice touch, but again, like, it's kind of a lot of busy work in between missions, because I feel like I need to be, if I want to be min-maxing, I need to be coming back here and picking up all the items that, like, up here and talking to everyone and doing all that stuff. It's, on one side, yes, it's nice to have kind of this area that feels like it's lively and there's people here, but on the other hand, yeah, it just feels like there's a checklist to do now in between each mission.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I think, though, like, I've enjoyed the pacing of this game a lot more than Three Houses. And I think, now that I'm actually thinking about it, the one thing this is actually missing, probably a lot of things, is you don't have this silly notice board anymore with all these side quests you need to tick off.
Yeah.
You just have this notice board, which is just...
Achievements.
Yeah, people love them achievements.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, thankfully, though, a lot of this stuff is, to be honest, like, optional.
Yeah, like, it's stuff like, there's stuff like you can go polish rings and it increases your bond level, but it's by such a minuscule amount that it doesn't feel worth it, essentially. Like, you might as well just equip the ring onto that person for a mission and get just as much. But the important thing you can do here, Ah Wai, is gacha.
That's why I'm here, man.
Bond rings. And what bond rings do is let that character start generating skill points, but not get the effects of having an actual emblem. So I can go in here, I can create 10 Marth bond rings.
Pretty sure you can make 70 there, Nick, by the math in
Yeah,
that
using
bottom
my
right corner.
bond fragments. And these all have random characters associated with them. So you'll see this is a Linda B. And they all have different stats associated with them. I originally thought, judging by the name, I actually kind of thought, do these also increase your bond with that person while you wear them? But I don't think that's the case. I think all they do is literally let you start generating SP. So you can then, whenever you do have an actual bond with a emblem, you can start inheriting their skills and things.
I will say, though, I hate how this is, like, what they decided on.
What
like,
rings?
The gacha part of, like... Because obviously, you know, the story-wise, it's like, look at these super important characters. And then in here, it's like, look at these duplicates of these characters. Yeah.
And then I can go into meld, and I can combine the ones that are all shitty.
Yeah. Like, it is truly a mobile game.
Oh yeah,
Like,
100%.
But I will say though,
like the art doesn't even change between A and or like C and B. Give me some different tiki art.
Yeah, that is actually a missed opportunity. Yeah, like because I played Fire Emblem Heroes, which is the mobile game where you're gatching away for all this stuff, and I really love how they actually paid homage to the other characters. And I think this is like a nice way to do it because
it will take some work.
The characters do give you stats and like it's worth doing it and stuff.
The ring looks amazing.
But yeah, I just think gathering in this game is just such a weird choice.
Yeah, sorry, I'll polish Cloud's ring here. Your
boy. Wait, his ring looks sick.
Yeah, so the DLC characters have bracelets, not rings.
Ah,
I'm assuming
Did the
to make
others
it a
get
bit
this
different.
attention?
Also, Nick,
Can we do this a little longer?
now correct me if I'm wrong. It
No.
doesn't matter where you polish, does it?
No, it does
Okay.
not.
Okay, because I thought I was like cheating the system or something.
No.
Because I was like, this doesn't seem right.
And yeah, each character has like their engage weapon. So obviously Marth has the rapier, and you can unlock the falchion eventually. I don't know when I unlock it, because I think I'm already at max rank with Marth. But I the DLC character may have spoiled something, that I actually think you can get to bond rank 20 at a certain point in the story,
That makes sense though.
where I think you're capped at 10 to start with. So yeah, you can see that like Edelgard has.
Oh damn.
I know it says Edelgard there, but apparently it has all three of the actual whatever the fuck they were called.
Yeah.
Can't remember what those special weapons were called. Tiki has a whole bunch of stuff.
Oh wow.
And then, yeah, I have the three that I've actually been... The three from the actual story. But overall, like, I think, yeah, Somniel is alright, but I think it's maybe a bit much at times. I know, like, you don't need to engage with a lot of the stuff. You don't need to go do the strength training in between every mission. You don't need to
Yeah, I don't do any of
go
that.
have a meal with everyone. But yeah, like... It's there, and there are going to be people who feel like they need to do all that stuff, and it can become a bit of a grind in between each mission to have like 20 minutes where you just have to go through a bunch of menus, essentially.
Yeah, I think people should know that, as we keep saying, like, it is just optional. So like, don't worry
Oh yeah, like
too much about that
I
kind
definitely
of
feel
stuff.
like you wouldn't miss out if you didn't do any of this stuff.
Like, you see all those glowing spots on the map there? Those are items you can pick up, but let me tell you, half the time it's a potato. Right, and
half the time it's a potato or horse manure.
yeah, like, you don't need either of those in your life, really, in the grand scheme of things.
Like, let's see, I bet he's giving me some milk.
Yeah.
The cat probably is giving me a fish. Yep. The chicken will give me an egg.
I was actually from Claude there.
The dog will give me probably iron ingots, or steel ingot, and then this guy will give me more milk. So,
I love how casually you said that, as if like, yeah, dogs reply iron steel ingots all the time.
look, Chloe has a dog. He constantly comes home with iron ingots.
Oh, okay, all right, fair.
There's also I like that. I also like that you can just go and buy new clothes.
I think my favorite part is how you only need to buy one.
Yeah, and it goes for everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, and everyone's looks different. Okay, not gonna lie, Nick, though, I may have just put half the guys in just swimwear, and I just feel very conscious that they all have six packs.
Yeah. I don't appreciate that they all seem to swim in their like t-shirts though. They all wear shirts while swimming. It's kind of weird.
I guess the one other mechanic, because there is no durability, can you go to the smithing?
Yep. Oh, this will always get the hammer and the sword mixed up.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. If you thought you wouldn't be looking at menus for weapons, though, you'd be wrong. Because you can essentially, although you'll only need like one of each weapon for your character, you can upgrade them. Which means there is this like sense of progression, and like the stuff is quite expensive, so like it's not something which you're just gonna bash out immediately.
Yeah.
And the other cool part is this engraving thing.
Yeah, you can decide kind of which, like it seems like you're engraving a mark onto the weapon depending on a whatchamacallit, like on your emblems, and they'll kind of each give it different buffs.
Yeah, and I think that is like just really cool, and that's an added layer of like customization, which is really nice.
I really should go through all my guys and actually start doing that, because I've only done it for the Liberation.
I've literally just made my crappier characters' weapons better because I'm like, well, sorry, no one else has a JoJo stand next to them.
I'll be here.
Yeah. But overall, I think it's cool. Any final thoughts or opinions before we head towards our conclusions, Ah Wai? Or any other things you think are worth showing off in Somniel?
Can we see Somni poop out bond fragments?
Oh yeah,
Before we go?
Great animation.
Is it?
It's so dumb. I was playing this with Chloe and she was like, that cat just shit out crystals.
Like, yeah, there's some bits on the checkbox which that you do need to tick, like this. Yeah, you gotta...
I also, like, I don't know whether, like, can I just keep feeding him infinitely? Can I just feed him everything I have to get this bar up as quick as possible?
That bar did not go up for me. Whenever I tried to force feed him.
Here, eat these 8 eggs.
Yeah, so you give him the milk, and he's all like, hell
He's
yeah.
all happy, yeah, I love milk. And then he's like, oh no, I'm lactose intolerant. And then he just goes, poop.
Yeah.
So dumb. So fucking dumb. But yes, join us after, I think Hans puts Fade to Black here, where we will talk about our final thoughts and opinions on Fire Emblem Engage. So yes, that was gameplay of Fire Emblem Engage, but Ah Wai, I believe you have a question for me.
Nicholas,
Yes.
if you were on the fence about Fire Emblem Engage, what would you say?
I really like Fire Emblem Engage. I think they've definitely skewed a lot more towards focusing on the combat side of things compared to the story. The story, I think, feels very like paint by numbers, and I'm not invested in like any of the characters compared to Three Houses. In fact, I think a lot of the characters kind of get on my nerves more than anything. But that notwithstanding, I think the combat is like a lot more enjoyable, and it is as fast flowing and as intuitive as it's ever been. Like we didn't actually even mention it. I actually really appreciate how quickly it kind of goes in and out of all the attack animations. It's like you actually essentially just zoom into the map, which I don't remember it being as seamless in Three Houses.
Yeah, I think the only thing missing is that you can't run around. It's completely zoomed in.
Yeah.
which is fine, I guess.
But you can kind of do that in like the post-battle bits,
exactly,
you're on
yeah.
that map.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's a fantastic game. I think it's still kind of top of its class in terms of like this sort of tactics gameplay. But yeah, be wary that if you are a big fan of Three Houses, the story is definitely taking much more of a backseat and is a lot less interesting than I think it was in Three Houses. But if you just want to batter away at the gameplay and play a very enjoyable one of these games, like Engage is up there. It's fantastic. Ah Wai, you've also been playing the game. If you were on the fence with your limited, I think you've played, what, a couple less missions than me? What would you say?
I think come for the gameplay, but you ain't staying for the characters, as you said. They are... Oh, there's some cringy stuff in there. But maybe you love that stuff. Maybe it's just Nick and I. We just don't appreciate true art. You know, maybe that's the case. But as a game, though, I think this is... I literally was on the fence about getting this game, as you know. But to be honest, it's actually been a real blast to play. And I'm really happy that this turned out so well. Because this kind of came out of the blue, actually, right? Like, it was kind of announced middle of last year, and then it was like, oh, it's coming out.
Was it even the middle? I thought it was like this was announced like September, October time.
Yeah.
I think because obviously like there was a lot of talk that this was sitting like ready to go already, and like this was pretty much done. They were just waiting to release it, and obviously now it's here.
And boy, am I glad it's here.
But yes, that was Fire Emblem Engage, available on the Nintendo Switch, probably between 40 and 50. It's probably 50 quid in the eShop and then 40 quid everywhere else. But yes, thank you for joining me, Ah Wai.
No worries, man.